The ship Eternal Dawn moved slowly through the dark space beyond Neptune. Dr. Hansol stood at the main window watching the stars. He was 42 years old and had spent most of his life studying alien life forms. This was his first real chance to find them. "Dr. Hansol, we're getting strange readings on the scanner," said Jiwoo from her seat at the communication desk. She was 28 and very good with computers and radio signals. Her black hair was tied back as she worked on her screens. Hansol walked over to look at the data. "What kind of readings?" "Something big is moving toward us, very big. The computer says it is not a rock or ice. It moves too smooth, like it has engines." Do-hyun looked up from his engineering station. He was 35 and could fix anything on the ship. "Should I get the engines ready to run?" "Not yet," Hansol said. "This might be what we came here to find." Yoonbi, the ship's doctor, was checking medical supplies in the corner. She was 31 and always ready for emergencies. "If we meet aliens, we should be careful. We don't know if they are friendly." Soo-jin was the youngest person on the ship at 24. She was new to space travel but very smart about science. She looked excited and scared at the same time. "What if they want to talk to us? What if this is the most important day in human history?" Hansol smiled at her excitement. Soo-jin reminded him of himself when he was young and full of hope about finding life among the stars. "There," Jiwoo pointed at her screen. "I can see it now." Everyone gathered around the main screen. A huge ship appeared in front of them. It was not like any human ship. It looked like it was made of crystal or glass, but it glowed with soft blue light. It was 3 times bigger than their ship. "It's beautiful," Soo-jin whispered. The alien ship moved closer. It made no sound, but the Eternal Dawn began to shake a little. "They are scanning us," Jiwoo said. "Some kind of energy beam is going over our ship." Hansol made a decision. "Send them a peaceful message. Use the international peace symbols and math. Show them we want to be friends." Jiwoo worked fast on her computer. She sent pictures of humans, our solar system, and simple math problems. She also played music from Earth. For 10 minutes, nothing happened. Then the alien ship sent something back. It was not pictures or math. It was sound, but not like any sound they had heard before. It was like music, but it hurt their ears. "Turn it down," Eunbi said, holding her head. "It's too loud." Jiwoo made the sound quieter, but it still hurt. The sound went up and down like singing, but it made everyone feel sick and scared. "I think this is how they talk," Soo-jin said. She was trying to be brave, but her hands were shaking. "Maybe they don't know it hurts us." Suddenly, the alien ship moved very close to them. It was so big that it blocked out all the stars. Then something strange happened. The Eternal Dawn stopped moving. The engines were still running, but the ship could not move forward or backward. "They have some kind of tractor beam on us," Do-hyun said. He was pushing buttons and pulling levers, but nothing worked. "I can't break free." A new sound came from the alien ship. This time it was not the painful music. It was like footsteps, but on metal. Something was walking on the outside of their ship. "Impossible," Yoonbi said. "Nothing can walk in space without a suit." But the footsteps kept coming. They walked all around the ship, then stopped at the main door. "Should we let them in?" Jiwoo asked. Before Hansol could answer, the door opened by itself. The ship's computer started making alarm sounds. The door should have been locked tight, but somehow the aliens had opened it. 3 tall figures walked into their ship. They looked like people, but they were made of the same crystal material as their ship. They glowed with soft blue light and they had no faces, just smooth crystal where a face should be. They were very tall, almost 8 feet, and they moved in a strange way like they were floating just above the floor. The aliens made the painful music sound again. This time it was louder and it hurt so much that Do-hyun fell down. Yoonbi tried to help him, but she was also holding her head in pain. Hansol tried to talk to them. "We are peaceful. We come from Earth. We want to be friends." The aliens did not seem to care about his words. They looked at each human, moving their crystal heads from side to side like they were studying them. When they looked at Soo-jin, they stopped for a long time. One alien walked close to Soo-jin. It reached out with a crystal hand and almost touched her face. Soo-jin tried to be brave, but she stepped back. The alien made a different sound, softer but still painful. The other 2 aliens came over to look at Soo-jin too. They seemed very interested in her. "Why are they looking at me?" Soo-jin asked. Her voice was shaking. The aliens started talking to each other in their musical language. It sounded like they were making a decision about something. Hansol stepped between the aliens and Soo-jin. If you want to study humans, study me. I am the leader. Leave the others alone. But the aliens pushed Han Sol away without hurting him. They wanted Sujin, and they would not take no for an answer. One alien touched Sujin's arm. Where it touched her, her skin began to glow with the same blue light. Sujin looked scared but also amazed. It doesn't hurt, she said. It feels warm. The alien made happy music sounds. It seemed pleased that Sujin was not hurt by its touch. Then more aliens came into the ship. Soon there were 6 of them. They surrounded the human crew, but they kept looking at Sujin. I think they want to take her with them, Yunbi said quietly. No, Han Sol said. We stay together. But the aliens had other ideas. They made loud, sharp music that hurt everyone's ears so much they had to cover them. While the humans were in pain, the aliens grabbed Sujin. Help me, Sujin called out. Du Hyun tried to fight the aliens, but they were much stronger. They pushed him back easily. Jiwoo tried to call for help on the radio, but her equipment stopped working. The aliens were taking Sujin toward the door. She fought against them, but she could not break free. We'll come for you, Han Sol shouted. Don't give up. Sujin looked back at her friends as the aliens carried her away. She was scared, but she tried to look brave. I'll be okay, she said. Find a way to help me. The aliens took Sujin out of the ship. The remaining 4 aliens stayed behind to guard Han Sol, Jiwoo, Do-hyun, and Yunbi. Through the window they could see Sujin being taken to the crystal ship. She looked so small next to the tall aliens. Why did they take her? Jiwoo asked. I don't know, Han Sol said, but we have to find a way to get her back. The aliens in their ship made soft music sounds. It seemed like they were happy about something. They had found what they were looking for, and now they would begin their real work. Outside, the crystal ship began to glow brighter. Sujin was inside now, probably scared and alone, but she was strong and smart. Han Sol hoped she would find a way to survive whatever the aliens wanted to do to her. The 4 humans sat together, watched by the crystal aliens. They could only wait and hope that Sujin would be okay. They did not know that their young friend was about to face something much worse than they could imagine. Sujin woke up in a room made of crystal. Everything around her glowed with soft blue light. The walls, the floor, even the air seemed to shine. She was lying on something that felt like a bed, but it was hard and cold like glass. Her head hurt from the alien music, but she could think clearly. She remembered the aliens taking her from her friends. She was scared, but she tried to stay calm like her grandmother had taught her. The room had no doors that she could see. The walls were smooth crystal with no handles or buttons. She walked around the room looking for a way out, but there was nothing. Hello? She called out. Can anyone hear me? The room stayed quiet for a moment. Then the painful music started again. It came from everywhere at once, the walls, the floor, the ceiling. Sujin covered her ears, but it did not help much. The music stopped suddenly. A section of the wall became clear like a window. She could see into another room where several aliens were standing. They were looking at her and making soft music sounds to each other. One alien was taller than the others. Its crystal body was darker blue, and it had strange marks on its chest that glowed white. This alien seemed to be the leader. It made a long, complicated music sound, and the other aliens listened carefully. The leader alien pressed something Sujin could not see. Suddenly, the room became very hot. Sujin started to sweat. The heat got worse and worse until she thought she might pass out. Just when she could not stand it anymore, the room became very cold. So cold that she could see her breath and her skin turned blue. Stop it, Sujin yelled at the window. This is hurting me. But the alien seemed happy that she was suffering. They made excited music sounds and watched her closely. The leader alien was writing things down on a crystal tablet. The temperature went back to normal, but Sujin was shaking from the cold. She was already getting tired, and this was just the beginning. Next, all the light in the room went out. Sujin was in complete darkness. She could not see her own hands in front of her face. The darkness was so thick it felt like it was pushing down on her. She tried to walk, but she bumped into walls she could not see. She felt around with her hands, trying to find something familiar, but everything felt the same. Smooth, cold crystal. After what felt like hours, bright lights suddenly turned on. They were so bright that Sujin had to close her eyes. Even with her eyes closed, the light hurt. She put her hands over her face, but the light went right through her fingers. The lights went out again, then came back on, then went out. On and off, faster and faster. Sujin felt sick and dizzy. She fell down and tried to curl up in a ball to hide from the lights. When the lights finally stopped flashing, Sujin was crying. She was tired and scared, and her head hurt terribly, but she wiped her tears and stood up. She would not let the aliens break her spirit. Through the window, she could see the aliens watching her. They seemed surprised that she was still standing. The leader alien made some quick music sounds, and the other aliens rushed to their equipment. This time, the aliens filled the room with their painful music. But it was much louder than before. It felt like the sound was going through her bones and into her brain. Sujin screamed and fell down, holding her head. The music kept playing for a long time. Sujin tried to cover her ears, but the sound was too strong. She rolled on the floor, crying and begging for it to stop. When the music finally ended, Sujin could barely hear anything. Her ears were ringing and she felt dizzy. But she was still alive and she was still fighting. The aliens tried many other things. They made the air too thick to breathe easily, then too thin. They created horrible smells that made her throw up. They showed her pictures of her friends being hurt, but Sujin knew they were not real. The aliens were just trying to make her give up hope. Between each test, Sujin tried to rest. She thought about her home in Busan, about the ocean and the mountains. She thought about her grandmother, who had lived through a war and never gave up. Her grandmother used to tell her stories about being strong when everything seemed hopeless. The human spirit is like bamboo, her grandmother had said. It bends in the storm, but it does not break. And when the storm is over, it stands up straight again. Sujin held on to these memories. Every time the aliens hurt her, she thought about her grandmother's words. She thought about her friends on the ship who were counting on her to be strong. The aliens seemed puzzled by her. Every time they thought they had broken her spirit, Sujin would stand up again. She would look at them through the window with brave eyes, even when she was shaking with pain and fear. The leader alien spent more and more time studying her. It would stand at the window for hours, watching everything she did. Sometimes it would make music sounds that seemed almost like questions, as if it was trying to understand how she could keep fighting. On the third day, the aliens tried something new. They made the room look like the inside of her ship. They created fake images of her friends calling for help. The fake Hansol was saying that Sujin had abandoned them. The fake Jiwoo was crying and blaming Sujin for getting them all captured. "It's not real," Sujin said to herself. "My friends would never say those things. They know I didn't choose to be taken." But it was hard to watch, even knowing it was fake. The aliens made the fake friends say terrible things about her. They made it look like her friends hated her and wished she had never joined their mission. Sujin closed her eyes and sang a song her mother used to sing to her. It was a simple song about flowers growing after winter. She sang it over and over until the fake images went away. The aliens tried the fake images many times, but Sujin always knew they were not real. Her friends were good people who cared about her. The aliens could not make her believe otherwise. After a week, Sujin was very tired and thin. She had not eaten much food. The aliens gave her strange crystal things that tasted bad and made her stomach hurt. But she ate them anyway because she needed strength to keep fighting. Her body was weak, but her mind was still strong. Every morning when she woke up, she would stand and face the window where the aliens watched her. She would look right at the leader alien and smile, even when she felt like crying. This made the aliens very confused. They had tortured many creatures from different planets, and all of them had broken down much faster than Sujin. They had expected her to give up after a few days, but here she was after a week, still fighting. The leader alien began to spend all its time studying Sujin. It brought more equipment into the observation room. Other aliens came to look at her too, as if she was a puzzle they could not solve. Sujin could see them talking about her in their musical language. Their sounds seemed worried and excited at the same time. She had become something they did not expect, a human who would not break no matter what they did to her. On the 8th day, the leader alien decided to try something more dangerous. It brought in a machine that Sujin had not seen before. The machine had thin metal arms with sharp points at the end. Sujin knew that whatever the aliens were planning next would be worse than everything they had done so far, but she stood up straight and faced the window. She was ready for whatever came next. She thought about her friends one more time. She hoped they were safe. She hoped they would find a way to go home and tell Earth about what happened here. Most of all, she hoped they would remember her as someone who never gave up, no matter how dark things became. The machine started to move toward her. and Sujin took a deep breath. She was still fighting, and she would keep fighting until the very end. The machine with the metal arms moved closer to Sujin. She backed against the crystal wall, but there was nowhere to run. The sharp points on the arms looked like they were made to go inside her head. The leader alien made music sounds to the other aliens. Sujin could see them preparing more equipment. This was different from the heat and cold and lights. This machine was meant to hurt her in a much worse way. "Please," Sujin said, looking at the leader alien through the window. "I've done nothing wrong. Why are you doing this to me?" The leader alien stopped for a moment. It seemed to listen to her words even though it probably could not understand them. But then it made a sharp music sound and the machine started moving again. The metal arms reached out toward Sujin's head. She tried to push them away, but they were too strong. The sharp points touched her temples and she felt a terrible pain shoot through her brain. Sujin screamed louder than she had ever screamed before. The pain was like nothing she had felt during all the days of torture. It felt like the machines were digging into her thoughts, trying to pull her memories out of her head. She could see things from her past flashing in front of her eyes. Her first day of school, her grandmother's funeral, the day she joined the space program. But the memories were being twisted and changed by the machine. Happy times became sad, and people she loved looked angry and mean. The aliens watched everything on their screens. They could see inside Sujin's mind now, watching her thoughts and memories like they were watching a movie. The leader alien was very excited, making quick music sounds and writing things down fast on its crystal tablet. Sujin tried to fight the machine in her mind. She tried to hold on to her real memories and push away the twisted ones. But the machine was too strong. It kept digging deeper and deeper into her brain. "Stop," she whispered. "Please stop." But the aliens did not stop. They wanted to map every part of her human mind. They wanted to understand how humans think and feel and remember. Sujin was just a specimen to them, like a bug under a microscope. The pain got worse and worse. Sujin's body began to shake violently. Her heart was beating so fast it felt like it might explode. She could taste blood in her mouth. Through the terrible pain, she tried to think about her friends. But every time she thought about Hansol or Jiwoo or Dohyun or Yunbi, the machine would grab those memories and twist them too. Hours passed. The machine never stopped working. Sujin's body was getting weaker and weaker. She could not eat or drink or sleep while the machine was in her head. All she could do was suffer. On the eternal dawn, Hansol was staring at a small device hidden in his pocket. It was connected to biomonitors that all the crew members wore. The device could tell him if someone was hurt or sick or dead. For days, Sujin's readings had shown that she was in terrible pain and very stressed. But she was alive and fighting. Hansol checked the device every few minutes, hoping to see some sign that things were getting better. Jiwoo was sitting next to him, trying to fix their radio equipment. The aliens had broken most of their systems, but she thought she might be able to send a message to Earth if she could get the radio working again. Do-hyun was looking at the alien guards. There were still 3 of them watching the human crew. He was trying to find a weakness, some way to fight them and escape. But the aliens were too strong and too alert. Yunbi was preparing medical supplies. She knew that when they rescued Sujin, she would probably need a lot of help. Yunbi had medicines for pain and shock and other injuries. She just hoped it would be enough. "Her heart rate is getting very high," Hansol said quietly, looking at his device. "How high?" Yunbi asked. "Too high. Much too high for this long. If it doesn't slow down soon..." He didn't finish the sentence. They all knew what would happen if Sujin's heart beat too fast for too long. Back on the alien ship, Sujin was barely conscious. The machine had been in her head for 12 hours straight. Her body could not take much more of this torture. The leader alien seemed to realize that its specimen was about to die. It made worried music sounds to the other aliens. They had not finished mapping her brain yet. If she died now, they would lose valuable data. But the alien was also curious about something else. It wanted to see what would happen when a human brain finally broke completely. No creature they had studied before had lasted this long. Sujin was giving them information about human limits that they had never gotten from other species. So the leader alien decided to keep going. It wanted to see how far a human mind could be pushed before it stopped working forever. Sujin's thoughts were becoming confused and jumbled. She could not tell the difference between her real memories and the twisted ones anymore. She could not remember her friends' names or her own name or where she came from. Her heart was beating so fast it sounded like a drum in her ears. Her body was shaking and she could not control her arms and legs anymore. "Grandmother," she whispered. That was the one memory the machine could not take away from her completely. Her grandmother's face was still clear in her mind, still strong and loving. The leader alien saw this on its screens. It made sharp music sounds and told the machine to attack that memory too. The alien wanted to destroy every last piece of Sujin's humanity. The machine pushed deeper into Sujin's brain, trying to reach the memory of her grandmother. The pain became so bad that Sujin could not even scream anymore. She could only make small hurt sounds like a wounded animal. Her heart was beating over 200 times per minute. No human heart could beat that fast for very long. On the human ship, Hansol watched his device in horror. 210 beats per minute, he said. This is impossible. She should already be... The device started making alarm sounds. Sujin's heart rate spiked to 230 beats per minute, then suddenly dropped to 0. "No," Jiwoo whispered. The device showed no heartbeat, no brain activity, no breathing. At exactly 14:23 ship time, Sujin was dead. Hansol stared at the device, hoping it was wrong. But the readings were clear. Their young friend was gone. Yoonbi started crying quietly. Do-hyun punched the wall with his fist. Jiwoo put her head in her hands and sobbed. Even the alien guards seemed to notice something had changed. They made soft, questioning music sounds to each other. On the alien ship, the leader alien was disappointed but not surprised. It had pushed the human specimen too far and now it was dead. This happened sometimes during their experiments. Sujin's body lay still on the crystal floor. Her eyes were closed and she was not breathing. The terrible machine finally stopped working and pulled its metal arms away from her head. The leader alien made notes on its crystal tablet about the experiment. It had learned a lot about human brain structure and limits. The data would be useful for future experiments on other humans. Other aliens came into the room to take Sujin's body away. They planned to cut it open and study her internal organs. Dead specimens could still provide valuable information, but they left her body alone for a while. The leader alien wanted to double-check its readings and make sure all the data was saved properly. Killing specimens was expensive and time-consuming. The alien wanted to make sure it got every bit of useful information from this one. So Sujin's body lay on the crystal floor, still and quiet. The aliens thought they had learned everything they could from this stubborn human who had fought longer than anyone expected. They had no idea that death was not the end of Sujin's story. It was just the beginning of something much more dangerous for them. The time was 14:23. In exactly 37 minutes, the aliens would learn that they had made a terrible mistake. They had pushed a human being beyond every limit they thought existed. And sometimes when you push someone that far, they don't just break. Sometimes they become something new. At exactly 15 ship time, Sujin's eyes opened. The aliens had left her body on the crystal floor while they prepared their cutting tools. They were busy in another room, excited about studying her organs and bones. None of them were watching when her chest started moving up and down again. Sujin sat up slowly. She felt different. Very different. The terrible pain in her head was gone, but something new was there instead. She could think more clearly than ever before. Her mind felt sharp and powerful, like a knife that had just been sharpened. She looked at her hands. They looked the same, but when she made a fist, she could feel strength there that had never been there before. She stood up and her legs felt strong and steady even though she had been dead for 37 minutes. The strangest thing was that she was not afraid anymore. For days she had been scared and hurting and desperate. Now she felt calm and sure of herself. She knew exactly what she needed to do. Sujin walked to the crystal wall where the aliens had been watching her. She put her hand against it and pushed gently. The crystal, which had seemed unbreakable before, cracked under her touch. She pushed harder. The crack spread across the wall like a spider web. Then the whole wall shattered into pieces. The noise brought the aliens running. 3 of them rushed into the room, making shocked music sounds when they saw Sujin standing in the broken glass. They had left a dead human in this room. Now there was a living human surrounded by pieces of their unbreakable crystal wall. The first alien reached for Sujin with its crystal arms. She grabbed the arm and twisted it. The alien's arm broke off with a sound like glass breaking. The alien made a terrible music sound of pain and surprise. Sujin did not feel sorry for it. These creatures had tortured her for days. They had killed her. Now it was time for them to understand what real pain felt like. The second alien tried to grab her from behind. Sujin spun around faster than any human should be able to move. She grabbed the alien by its crystal head and threw it across the room. It hit the wall so hard that cracks appeared in the crystal. The third alien was making loud alarm music calling for help. Sujin walked up to it and put her hand on its chest. Where she touched it, the alien's crystal body began to crack and turn dark. "You wanted to study humans," she said. Her voice sounded different now, stronger. "Let me teach you something about us. We don't break the way you think we do. Sometimes when you push us too far, we become something you can't control." More aliens came running into the room. Sujin counted 6 of them, including the leader alien with the dark blue crystal body. They all stopped when they saw the broken aliens on the floor. The leader alien made rapid music sounds. Sujin could suddenly understand what it was saying. The torture machine had not just nearly killed her. It had connected her mind to theirs somehow. She could hear their thoughts and understand their language. The leader was saying, "Impossible." The specimen was dead, completely dead. No brain activity for 37 minutes. "How is it moving?" Sujin smiled at the leader alien. "You wanted to see how far you could push a human mind. Congratulations, you pushed it all the way through death and out the other side." The aliens were terrified. They had never seen a dead creature come back to life. They had never seen anything break their crystal walls with bare hands. Sujin was not following any of the rules they understood about biology and physics. Sujin started walking toward them. With each step, she felt stronger and more confident. The aliens backed away from her, making frightened music sounds. "You studied dozens of species," Sujin said, still walking forward. "But you never understood the most important thing about humans. We are not just individuals. We are connected to something bigger. When you torture one human, you are fighting against the strength of all humans who ever lived." She reached out and touched the wall behind the aliens. Her hand sank into the crystal like it was soft clay. She could feel the entire ship around her, its engines, its computers, its weapons. Somehow her mind could connect to all of it. The leader alien was frantically making music sounds to the others. It was telling them to activate the ship's defenses, to flood this room with poison gas, to do anything to stop this impossible human. But Sujin was already reaching into the ship's systems with her mind. She could see how everything worked. The alien technology was not as different from human technology as it seemed. Energy was energy. Computers were computers. She just had to think about them in the right way. The lights in the room began to flicker. The alien defense systems tried to turn on, but Sujin stopped them with a thought. She was taking control of their ship and there was nothing they could do about it. "Let me show you something else about humans," Sujin said. "We take care of our friends." She reached deeper into the ship's systems and found the controls for the tractor beam holding the eternal dawn. She turned it off with her mind. Now her friends would be free to move their ship, but that was not enough. Sujin wanted to make sure the aliens could never hurt anyone again. She found the ship's weapon systems and began to break them down from the inside. Circuits melted. Power cables snapped. In minutes, the alien ship would be completely helpless. The leader alien realized what was happening. It made desperate music sounds and ran toward a control panel. Sujin let it reach the panel, then watched as nothing happened when the alien tried to use it. "Your weapons are broken," Sujin said. "Your engines will be next. Then your life support systems. You wanted to study what happens when a creature is pushed beyond its limits. Now you're going to find out what that feels like." The aliens huddled together, making terrified music sounds. They had gone from being the powerful ones to being completely helpless in just a few minutes. Sujin walked past them toward the door. She had more important things to do than watch them be scared. She needed to find her friends and get them off this ship. As she walked through the crystal hallways, she could feel the alien ship dying around her. Systems were shutting down. The blue light in the walls was getting dimmer. Soon this ship would be nothing but a dead crystal shell floating in space. She found the docking area, where the eternal dawn was connected to the alien ship. The airlock was sealed, but Sujin put her hand on it and felt the metal bend under her touch. The door opened easily. Hansol, Jiwoo, Do-hyun, and Yunbi were on the other side, fighting with 3 alien guards. When they saw Sujin walk through the door, they stopped fighting and stared at her. "Sujin," Hansol said. "But you were. The readings said you were dead," Sujin finished. I was, for 37 minutes. It's a long story. She walked up to the alien guards. They tried to run away, but she was much faster now. She touched each of them and they fell to the floor, their crystal bodies cracking and going dark. How did you do that? Eunbi asked. I'm not sure, Sujin said. But I think the alien's torture machine did something to my brain. It connected me to their technology somehow. I can control their ship now. Jiwoo was staring at the broken alien guards. Are they dead? No, just unconscious. They'll wake up eventually, but they won't be able to hurt anyone. Their ship is dead too. No weapons, no engines, no way to follow us. Do-hyun was checking the airlock controls. We should get out of here before more aliens show up. There won't be more, Sujin said. They're all too scared to come after us now. They thought they understood humans, but they learned today that they were wrong. The crew of the Eternal Dawn hurried back to their ship. Sujin was the last one through the airlock. Before she sealed the door, she looked back at the dying alien ship. The aliens had wanted to study her. They had wanted to break her down and understand what made humans tick. Instead, they had created something they could never understand or control. Sujin did not know what she was becoming, but she knew one thing for sure. She was still human, but she was also something more now, and that was going to change everything. Back on the Eternal Dawn, the crew gathered in the main cabin. Everyone was staring at Sujin. She looked the same as before, but something about her was completely different. She moved with confidence and spoke with a calm, strong voice that had not been there before. Are you really okay? Eunbi asked. She was holding her medical scanner, but the readings did not make sense. Your heart rate and brain activity are strange. Not bad, just different from any human I've ever seen. Sujin smiled. I feel better than okay. I feel like I can do anything. Hansol was looking at the alien ship through the main window. It was still there, but its blue glow was getting dimmer and dimmer. What did you do to their ship? I broke it, Sujin said simply. Their weapons, their engines, their computers. Everything important is destroyed. They can't follow us and they can't hurt anyone else. How? Do-hyun asked. Our weapons couldn't even scratch their crystal hull. Sujin held up her hand. As they watched, her fingertips began to glow with a soft blue light, just like the aliens' crystal bodies. When they tortured me, their machine connected my brain to their ship's computer. I think it was an accident. They were trying to map my mind, but instead they gave me access to their technology. Jiwoo was working at her communication station. I'm getting signals from other ships out there. Lots of them. I think there are more aliens in this area. Sujin walked over to Jiwoo's station and put her hand on the controls. The blue glow spread from her fingers into the equipment. Suddenly, the communication system was working better than it ever had before. Show me, Sujin said. Jiwoo brought up a display of space around them. There were dozens of alien ships scattered across this part of the galaxy. Most of them were far away, but a few were close enough to be dangerous. They're all connected, Sujin said. She could feel the network of alien ships like a web in her mind. They share information with each other. They know we're here. Hansol looked worried. Are they coming for us? Sujin closed her eyes and reached out with her new abilities. She could sense the alien ships talking to each other in their musical language. They were confused and scared about what had happened to their research vessel. Some of them wanted to come investigate. Others wanted to call for help. Not yet, Sujin said. But they will. They're afraid of us now, but fear makes creatures do stupid things. She opened her eyes and looked at her friends. I need to send them a message. Something that will make them understand what humans are really like. What kind of message? Hansol asked. Sujin walked to the main communication array. When she touched it, the entire system came alive with new power. Lights flickered on throughout the ship as Sujin connected herself to every system they had. The kind of message they can't ignore, she said. Sujin began to work with the communication system, but not in any way the others had seen before. She was not pressing buttons or typing commands. Instead, she was thinking at the machines and they were responding to her thoughts. The ship's radio transmitter began broadcasting on frequencies that human equipment should not have been able to reach. Sujin was using the alien network against them, sending her message through their own communication systems. But she was not speaking in human words. She was using the aliens' musical language, the same painful sounds that had tortured her for days. Somehow she understood it perfectly now. Her message went out across the galaxy, reaching every alien ship, every alien colony, Every alien listening post. This is Sujin of Earth speaking for all humans. You took me from my friends. You tortured me. You killed me. You thought this would teach you about human weakness. Instead, you have learned about human strength. The musical sounds coming from the ship's speakers were beautiful and terrible at the same time. Even though her friends could not understand the alien language, they could feel the power and anger in Sujin's voice. You study other species like they are insects. You cause pain because you are curious. You kill because it is convenient. This ends now. Sujin's message was being heard by millions of aliens across the galaxy. She could feel their fear and confusion as they listened. I am one human. You have turned me into something new, something you cannot understand or control, but I am still human, and humans do not forget when someone hurts their family. She paused in her message and looked at Hansol, Jiwoo, Dohyun, and Yunbi. They were her family, her crew, her responsibility. You wanted to know what makes humans different from other species. I will tell you. We do not accept defeat. We do not give up on each other. When you push us beyond our limits, we do not break. We become stronger. Through the alien network, Sujin could sense panic spreading among the alien ships. They were realizing that this one human could access all their technology. She could break their ships as easily as she had broken the research vessel. I could destroy all your ships right now, Sujin continued. I could turn your weapons against you. I could shut down your life support and leave you floating dead in space. But humans are not like you. We do not kill just because we can. Instead of destroying the alien fleet, Sujin did something much more frightening to them. She began to copy all their data. Every star chart, every map of alien colonies, every piece of information about other species they had captured and tortured. I am taking your knowledge, Hugh, she said. Everything you have learned by causing pain to innocent creatures. I will share this information with all the species you have hurt. They deserve to know who their enemies are. The aliens tried to stop her, but their computer systems were no match for Sujin's enhanced mind. She flowed through their networks like water, taking whatever information she wanted. You have one choice, Sujin said. Leave this part of the galaxy and never come back. Find some empty corner of space where you can hurt only each other. If I detect any of your ships near human space or near any of the species you have been torturing, I will find you. And next time I will not be merciful. To prove her point, Sujin reached out to the nearest alien warship and shut down its engines. The ship went dark and began drifting helplessly. She did the same to 3 more ships, then stopped. This is what mercy looks like, she said. You are alive but powerless. Remember this feeling the next time you think about capturing innocent creatures for your experiments. Sujin ended her message and disconnected from the communication system. The ship became quiet again, but the crew could see through the windows that the alien ships were already moving away. They were fleeing as fast as their remaining engines could carry them. They're running, Dohyun said, amazed. Good, Sujin said. It will take them time to repair the ships I damaged. By then, word will have spread to every species in this part of the galaxy. The aliens will find it much harder to capture new victims. Hansol was looking at readings from their sensors. There's something else out there. Ships I don't recognize. Sujin smiled. Those are the other species. The ones the aliens have been hurting for years. I sent them the alien star charts and told them where to find each other. They're coming to meet us. Over the next few hours, dozens of ships arrived. They were all different shapes and sizes, built by species the humans had never seen before. Some looked like metal flowers. Others were shaped like spirals or spheres. All of them had been victims of the crystal aliens. The crews of these ships wanted to meet the humans who had defeated their common enemy. They sent messages of thanks and offers of friendship. Sujin translated the alien languages for her friends. She found that her enhanced mind could understand almost any form of communication now. They want to form an alliance, she told Hansol. All the victim species working together to protect each other from creatures like the crystal aliens. Hansol looked at Sujin with a mixture of pride and worry. And what do you want? Sujin thought about it. She was no longer the same young scientist who had joined this mission. The torture and death had changed her into something new. She had powers now that no human had ever possessed, but she was still human in the ways that mattered most. She still cared about her friends. She still wanted to protect innocent people. She still believed that right and wrong mattered more than power. I want to go home, she said. I want to tell Earth what happened here, and I want to make sure that if other humans ever meet aliens like these, they'll be ready. What about your abilities? Yunbi asked. What are you going to do with them? Sujin looked at her hands. The blue glow was gone now, but she could still feel the power inside her waiting to be used. I'll learn to control them, she said, and I'll teach other humans what I've learned. The aliens made a mistake when they tortured me. They thought they were studying human weakness, but they accidentally created something that could defeat them. She looked at each of her friends. We're going home with the most important discovery in human history. We're not alone in the galaxy, and we're not helpless. When the time comes, humanity will be ready for whatever is out there. The Eternal Dawn turned toward home, escorted by a fleet of alien ships from dozens of grateful species. Sujin stood at the main window watching the stars. She had died as a victim and returned as something much more powerful. She had shown the galaxy that humans were not prey to be hunted or specimens to be studied.